amazing job so far on the things that he ran on, immigration. The border is, just his taking office, the border is effectively shut down. The attitude change from the federal government effectively closed the border. Look at the people coming across now. Look at the encounters today versus what was going on with Biden. I think on March 4th, you're going to hear them talk a lot about the success on immigration. As it relates to Ukraine, look, Zelensky made a huge mistake on Friday. All he had to do was show up and sign this deal, and he just couldn't do it. And sometimes these guys, when they put on the military uniform, they have trouble taking it off. He needs to take off the military garb, put on the garb of diplomacy, and understand that he's got an honest new broker on the field who can actually help him end this war, maintain his sovereignty, maintain prosperity for the Ukrainians. And regarding Elon and the bureaucracy, if I just may respond to something you said about the bureaucracy, there seems to be, when Republicans are president, that this idea that the bureaucracy and the government should not be responsive to the political leadership of the executive branch. That is totally false. It has nothing to do with a loyalty test, but it does have to do with whether or not the unelected bureaucracy is responsive to the political oversight of the government. And Democrats right now do not seem to believe that the president should be able to be the president. We have elections for a reason in this country. We vest all executive authority in a president of the United States, not in an unelected bureaucracy, not in independent agencies, but in a president. The president's agenda matters. When a Republican is president, the bureaucracy resists. It has to stop.
That sounds more like a king. It does not sound like president of the United States.
It's two parties, Dana. One wants bigger government, one wants smaller government. I think I'll take it to the midterms.
All right.
Yeah, Democrats coming out here, man. They really earned their unfavorability rating, right? Burning on how Democrats should resist Trump. Democrats have been playing dead for too many years. What world does this guy live in? Democrats playing dead? Y'all were just in power a year ago. 4 years ago, y'all came in power. Even during Trump's term, you guys already resisted Trump. And this is where, like, I sometimes I think a lot of these Democrats are just out of touch with reality. He said that the party should champion the working class. Nothing the Democrats are doing is championing the working class. You started an inflation rate. You had the highest inflation rate in 40 years during Biden's administration. How did that benefit the working class? You allowed mass immigration to import into this country at the expense of the American people and the American taxpayer, right? Because you, Bernie Sanders, will say the working class is the majority, right? Look at how much money it costs the U.S. taxpayer to allow illegal immigration, which Democrats stood and did nothing for it. And you wonder why you have such a low unfavorability rating. And let's compound the fact that during Biden's economy, most jobs went to non-American citizens. Make it make sense. So the American working class, you Democrats, this is your proposition, Democrats. You expect the American working class to put you in power when you're letting mass immigration come into the country, where you increase competition for a finite amount of jobs in certain locations with illegal immigrants, where corporations can use them for cheap labor. This is the Democratic Party. Yeah, you're championing the working class, all right.
Some Democrats argue the best action right now for the party to counter Donald Trump is to do nothing at all. Democratic strategist James Carville wrote this, quote, "Roll over and play dead. Allow the Republicans to crumble beneath their own weight and make the American people miss us." Senator, what say you? Do you think that's a good idea?
No, I don't. In fact, the problem is the Democrats have been playing dead for too many years. 60% of our people live paycheck to paycheck. We have more income and wealth inequality than we've ever had in the history of this country. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country. Millions of seniors are struggling to heat their homes and put food on the table. I don't think you play dead. I think you stand up for the working class of this country and make the point that right now the Trump administration is clearly an administration designed to represent the interests of the Musks of the world.
And this is how out of touch that Bernie Sanders come across. This is how out of touch many Democrats come across. And you saw the Bernie hypocrisy in the intro. All of a sudden, when a Republican comes into power, unelected bureaucrats should resist Trump because Trump is not a king. But that's the Constitution. The Constitution says that the president is the commander-in-chief, and he's duly elected by the people. He's the only official. He's the only politician that's elected by the entire country. Yet you want people who we don't know their names, we don't know their identities. You want unelected bureaucrats. This is why I said Democrats are the party of bureaucracy, not democracy. Democrats confuse democracy with bureaucracy. But hey, I digress. Let's check out this clip where I think it resonates with the sentiments that Americans, many conservatives, see how Donald Trump is doing on his job. Because at the end of the day, Donald Trump is doing what he ran on. Many Republicans, many conservatives, many libertarians, many non-liberals, let's put it that way. Many non-liberals see that what Donald Trump is doing, he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He wants peace. He wants to end to war. And this poll that you're going to see, and also the situation surrounding the Ukrainian war, many people, many Americans want it to end. And it doesn't matter. Oh, even if Putin gets the land, no one cares. We want the war to end. And whatever is give us the highest probability of ending the war is what Republicans want. Liberals be damned. Let's take a look.
Margaret, it is impossible to have an economic deal without a peace deal. The sine qua non for an economic deal is that Ukrainian leadership wants a peace deal.
I thought this was a building block towards getting to
Well, it was supposed to be, but President Zelensky came into the Oval on Friday. There were three things that were going to be done. There was going to be a press conference. There was going to be a private lunch with 16 of us. And as you could see from Dan Scavino's the post on his X account, we were already set up to sign the deal. So it's unclear now. President Zelensky has thrown off the sequencing. And Margaret, let me tell you the most tragic part of this. The President Trump's idea for this economic arrangement was to further intertwine the American people and the Ukrainian people and show no daylight, to show the Russian leadership that there was no daylight. And President Zelensky came into the Oval Office and tried to relitigate in front of the world the deal. And the place to have done it would have been in the private lunch.
Yeah, I know a lot of my Democratic friends couldn't believe what they were seeing in the White House yesterday between President Zelensky and President Trump. But I think a lot of Republicans were cheering President Trump on, and I think this gives you an understanding of what's exactly cooking on that side of the aisle. Republicans on the Russia-Ukraine war, look at this, want a quick end of the war, but Russia still keeps the captured land from Ukraine. Look at this. Look at the majority of Republicans. 74%, 3/4 of Republicans, near unanimity on that particular subject, compared to just 25% who say that they support Ukraine's fight, even if it means a longer-lasting war. The bottom line is this, it's very clear, very, very clear that Republicans want an end to this war. They are willing for Ukraine to give up that land that Russia currently has. They do not want this war extended. And I think what we saw yesterday in the White House was a clear illustration of that Republican point of view. Donald Trump representing Republicans well on this issue.
I think there's an interesting point to be made here is that no matter how low or what narrative they make about Donald Trump, oh, look, majority of Americans still disapprove of Donald Trump's job. Donald Trump still has a higher favorability rating than the entire Democratic Party. Okay, Donald Trump's approval ratings at 40%. Yeah, Democrats' approval ratings in 21%. Okay, like end of the day, relativism, like relative to you can make this claim that Donald Trump doesn't have majority support, but Democrats don't have majority support either. And this is where I'm talking about. Where is Democrats getting this fervor to resist Donald Trump? When Trump by himself is more popular than the entire Democratic Party, but the Democratic Party, we need to resist Trump. Democrats been playing dead for many years. Huh? What world are you living in? Democrats are resisting common sense policies where we're telling them men can't be women and women can't be men, and they're resisting it at every turn that they can to justify. I swear. The party of bureaucracy, I'm telling you. But I digress. I think I want to highlight this clip from Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary, and how this is kind of the narratives that the left tends to try to make, right? They want all the praise for everything good that happens in the country, but they don't want none of the responsibility when things go wrong in the country. And I'm talking about Biden's economy, right? Because during Trump's inauguration, I remember vividly that Democratic strategist Bakari Sellers saying that Donald Trump is lucky because he's inheriting a strong economy from Joe Biden, a relatively stable foreign policy, right? Trying to make this narrative in an attempt to take credit for any future prosperity that happens in Trump's administration. Try to give the credit to to Biden. And then when the job numbers came out and it came out bad, it came out very negative, they tried to paint, oh, Trump's first week in office and already the economy's going up, egg prices up, but they don't want to give you the nitty gritty and tell you, yeah, that was a snapshot before Donald Trump's inauguration date. So before Donald Trump came into power, you got the results of your Biden economy, and now you're trying to say it's Trump's economy. And I think many Americans are waking up to this game, and I want Trump's Treasury Secretary to highlight this fact. Let's take a look.
What I find interesting is for the past year and a half and during the campaign, most of the media said, oh, the economy is great. It's just a vibe session. Now that President Trump's in office, there's an economic problem. And I'll tell you what the problem was.
We were pretty straightforward on this program, sir.
Well, I haven't seen this program, but in general, this idea that working class Americans didn't know what they were talking about. They didn't know their lived experience. They didn't know what their pocketbooks were feeling. And I'll tell you, President...
I love I've been fairly accurate. Even 2 years ago when I started my channel, I talk about how the U.S. is in a recession during the Biden years, during the 2022 midterm around. I was saying we're in a recession. It's just the media's gaslighting us to think we're not in one. Based on how everyone was acting, based on how everyone was spending their money, it felt like a recession. And the media said, no. 2 back-to-back negative GDP growth is not a recession. It's different now. Inflation was transitory. Y'all remember those? You remember those messaging? I know somebody in there remember this messaging that they were giving us during the 2022 years when Biden had the highest inflation rate in 40 years because of the amount of government spending he was doing. And now that the results are in, now you want to somehow pin it on Trump. Democrat. This is why no one trusted the Democrats. This is what I'm talking about when the Democrats sit here and saying that, we need to resist more. The Democrats need to resist Donald Trump. Resist Donald Trump for what? You had it your way for 4 straight years, and look what you got us. And now you want to resist the guy that wants to do something about it? Make it make sense, Democrats. And you wonder why your favorability ratings is under the toilet.
Trump was elected. One of the reasons was the affordability crisis, and we are setting about doing that. So after 4 years of disastrous policies, we're running these gigantic deficits that led to the affordability problem, massive government regulation. So what we had was a demand shock from the government spending that was met by supply constraints with overregulation. So we are in the process of deregulating, which will free the supply side, and we are cutting back the government spending. It took 4 years to get us here. President Trump's been in office 5 weeks, and I can tell you we're working every day. What I will point out, interest rates, the 10-year bond, which I am focused on, have been down every week since President Trump was president. Mortgage rates have been down every week. So that's a pretty good start.
Pretty good start, but no, we need more. But like I said, it took 4 years for the previous guy to wreck the country. It's going to take 4 years for at least for the other guy to have a chance at making some adjustments. But, that's not stopping, CNN and their advocates, because this is what the Treasury Secretary was trying to point out, right? Margaret, she want to pretend that she's ignorant of the biases of her fellow constituency in the industry, but Americans are very aware of the bias of the mainstream media, especially CNN. Let's look at this conversation between these two analysts.
CBS's new poll shows 66% of people don't think he's doing enough to lower prices. It was similar in the CNN polling. How can he turn that around?
Well, number one, I think his job approval overall is actually pretty good when you look at where Joe Biden left office and you look at where congressional Democrats are. In the Quinnipiac survey last week, they were sitting at 21% approval. So as a matter of public opinion, Donald Trump is more popular than any Democrat in the country right now on his priority.
And that's just a fact. Now, I already gave you the context with the whole economy thing. He got here like a month ago. Give him some more time. He just passed his first economic bill, I think, recently. So Give him some time. I think I think Americans know this already. Americans already know, but this is just Democrat messaging, the liberal media, liberal analysts and panelists trying to create some type of friction point where they can justify their opposition to Donald Trump. And this is why I see the standing you with Crane stuff. This is how I see egg prices are up. Now you care about egg prices. Oh, the economy is bad. Oh, now you want to admit the economy is bad after it doesn't matter to you anymore. After it doesn't serve your purpose anymore. Right? The Guardian. I still remember The Guardian saying that majority of Americans was wrong, that Biden economy is strong. And then in 2025, Politico comes out and say voters were right. Biden's economy was bad. Make it make sense. But now you're mad that Donald Trump ain't fixing Democrats' mess fast enough. What a time to be a liberal journalist, huh? Let's continue with the video.
I do think he needs to focus in this speech on Tuesday on exactly what his executive orders did on the economy and what he is doing with that Congress on this reconciliation bill. You know, they've not really passed his one big beautiful bill yet, which is going to contain all of his legislative priorities, from extending the tax cuts to major changes in our national energy policy, which I think is actually the fastest way he can bring down prices. So I am expecting, Jessica, a big portion of this speech to be telling those Republicans, you got to come with me and we've got to pass this agenda together. One other thing, immigration is going quite well for Donald Trump. His taking office has effectively closed the border. I'd also expect on Tuesday to him focus on that major success. I mean, we're having barely any border encounters at all now because people are not coming here because we have a new president who's quite serious about eliminating illegal immigration. But yes, Tuesday night, a lot of economy talk. Maybe a lot of talk about what kind of shape the economy was in when he took over. And, you know, it's only been, a few weeks since he took office. So maybe asking for a little dispensation for the American people to unravel a mess that Joe Biden left behind.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then Democrats coming out here trying to say that somehow Donald Trump inherited a strong economy. And this is why I think this messaging from Bernie Sanders is just so damn tone deaf. Like, why? You've been doing it for years already, and it hasn't worked. Like, you haven't tried anything new. And this is what Americans was asking the Democrats. Democrats, what are you going to do differently? And Kamala Harris didn't have an answer. No Democrat had an answer in 2024. And you got mad that the American people put Donald Trump back in power. Make it make sense. And are you going to do is repeat the same thing? This is the insanity of the Democratic Party. Do the same strategy, do the same messaging over and over and over again and expecting a different result. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, how you are taking this, the upcoming speech that Donald Trump is going to have to address Congress. Do you believe that Donald Trump is on the right track? I want to know it directly from the people, not from polls. I want to hear your thoughts and perspectives in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching to the end of the video. Share this video if you feel so inclined. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.